that game against Auburn. What do you remember from that game and that experience?
Initially coming in, I just remember how serious it was. Guys are really focused. It's all throughout. Every little thing you did in practice was huge. Especially me playing scout team, you didn't want to make a mistake because Coach Kelly would be in your ear. I know a few times I made a couple mistakes and he was screaming at me, and I was just like, okay, I guess this is for real. But I mean, kind of taught me how to enjoy this experience. But when it's time to work, you got to be ready to work and kind of know when to joke and when to be serious. So. There's a lot of things coming at you, but you just got to be able to balance them out.
Did you learn a lot from that week, even if you were on the scout team, that you can bring to this week that's coming up?
Yeah, definitely think the biggest thing is just not being comfortable, continuing to get in there. At the end of the day, you still have a game to play. The team you're going against is not going to take it easy on you. They're going to compete because they want it just as bad as you do, or even more. So you really just got to come out and just showcase to everybody what you're about and just play to the best of your ability.
When you guys left that field, did you think it would take this long to get back there, or did you think you'd be back there every year of your college career?
Yeah, honestly, it was as soon as I came in, we were like, all right, we got to try again next year. And then the very first game, we lost to LSU, and we were like, well, where do we go from here? But guys kept working. They ended up going to Rose Bowl that year, but nobody kind of thought it'd take full 4 years to get back here. So it's really cool to be able to play in this game. We're going to do everything we can to get it done.
Yeah. You mentioned the LSU game, last time you guys played in this stadium. Yeah. What do you remember from that game, that experience? That would have been your first game.
Yeah, that was my first game playing. Didn't see the field a whole lot that game. I guess I just wasn't ready for that.
Right.
It was just such a great environment. I think that was my first time being in an NFL stadium and playing on it. And it was probably the best stadium I've ever been in. Just the attractions around the outside even looked incredible to me, and just being inside and seeing those huge screens, and I don't know, I guess it's kind of, you got to get lost in all that, especially me being a young guy. But now it's different. I mean, I've been a bunch of different places, been to a lot of big games, so I'm kind of just more focused on playing the game.
Do you talk to you guys have a lot of young guys that contribute and that have significant roles on this team. Yeah. Do you talk to them about what that experience was like for you as a young guy and try to help them avoid some of those things you were mentioning about just kind of being wow in the moment?
I think it's a lot to take in, especially for a guy that hasn't been here very long. So you got to kind of help them stay focused, keep their head in the right place, because I know there's going to be a lot of talk about, man, you're playing the national championship. How's it feel playing Cowboy Stadium? There's a lot of outside noise and you kind of get caught up in. So you kind of just help them stay on the right path, kind of just focus them up a little bit.
Have you been able to see much of Cardell Jones?
Yeah, we watched a little bit of their last game against Alabama. Dude's good. Their whole system on offense is great. They got a lot of weapons, man. They can do whatever they want to team. So defensively, we just got to be sound. We got to be disciplined. Whatever DP and the coaching staff dials up, we got to execute it to perfection, and just can't let little things go.
He's a big guy.
Yeah.
Does he remind you of anyone you played?
I guess James Winston's the closest guy. Initially, we all thought James was pretty big. I think this guy's actually bigger than him. So I know he's tough to go down. Guys got to gang tackle everybody on this offense because they're great at making people miss. So it's gonna be a great game for us.
Anything else offensively stand out to you for that? Ezekiel Elliott had 230, I think, against Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, initially at this point, it's a lot to take in, so we just gotta kind of chop it up bit by bit and kind of just go up by that.
There's been a lot of talk of Urban Meyer visiting Chip Kelly and using a lot of Chip's offense into his offense in Ohio State. Just from your first kind of watch of them, do you see similarities between what you guys go up against in practice?
To be honest with you, I don't really know a whole lot of what goes on the offense. I feel like they have so many different things that we see in practice, and then they do something. They can do something completely different in the game. So I mean, I don't really know offensively, but I don't really know I don't know Coach Meyer's coaching style or what he likes to do with his team. So I'm not really focused on that kind of stuff. This is the ultimate goal. It's really a blessing to be in this opportunity. Being in the shoes that we're in, we came a really long way. I think on the defense, we've grown a huge bunch throughout the season. I just really love my teammates. I know each and every guy's going to work when we get on the practice field, and we're going to play hard when we step
this is like the Super Bowl, isn't it?
Yeah,
college football.
Yeah, it's the last game of the season, so it got to be like a Super Bowl.
What have you talked to old guys who maybe are coaches who were there 4 years ago? A couple guys who are redshirt. Have they talked to you at all? What they say it's different. What do you expect?
I don't like to compare this year to previous years. I feel like it's a whole different ballgame. You got different bodies out there, different coaching on the staff, and it's just different game. Never had a playoff system before, so it's a bit different. But I don't think guys should just get too caught up in the glitz and glamour of it. End of the day, it's still football. It's still the same rules. So everything's gonna be exactly the same. People talk about how big stakes and all that stuff, but like I said, it's football. You gotta come out and compete. You gotta do the same thing you've been doing all year.
So you have as much time maybe to prepare for this game as you did for the Rose Bowl. Can you contrast the way you guys are preparing one and the other?
I don't think anything's different practice-wise. Same schedule, same intensity, everything's the same. I guess we just have less time. That's it. I think when you get in the bowl game situation, it's more of like a vacation almost. You know what I mean? You're out there for a different city for a week or however long, and you get to do a bunch of different events. And I think the national championship is a little bit different. It's just more focused on the game, less outside distraction, which is a good thing. Guys can focus on the game and just come out.
You had your first workout today?
Yes.
Okay. How did that go?
I thought it went pretty well. Guys are back in the groove. I didn't think there was a lot of goofing around or messing up. Guys came in ready for business, and I think it was good for the first day.
Is that sameness from the loss at Arizona?
I'm sorry?
Is that sameness important from coming off a loss at Arizona and coming through the bowl games and the big wins? Every time we've asked you how to practice go, there have been answers like it's the same. Do things the same way, win, lose, bowl game, not bowl game.
Yeah, I think it's huge. I think consistency is key in this game. You don't want to change what you're doing because it's a bigger game or whatever people call it. Because, like I said, you got to stick to what you do. You got to stick to what you're great at. And when you change things up, I think people get misconstrued and thinking that's going to help them out. But at the end of the day, you got to know what you're about and just kind of go with that.
How much respect do you have for Ohio State? How much respect do you have for Ohio
A
State?
great deal. I mean, Coach Meyer, we've met with him years past. He's visited our school, so I've got to talk to him on an individual basis. And he's a great guy, amazing coach. I know he's going to have his team fired up and ready to compete. So, I mean, we got to come out ready to play.
How do you describe the attitude of this defense?
Relentless. A lot of people count us out early in the year because our mistakes are our hiccups, I guess. But guys stuck with it. They kept working, kept getting stronger, kept believing in themselves, and now we're in a position to play in the biggest game of college football. I think it's huge for us.
Well, a lot of things are the same. Don Pelham now is the defensive coordinator. How has the year as a whole gone with him leading guys?
I think it's gone great from the beginning. I know Coach Pelham really well just because he recruited me. I've known him for a while now, and me being on the defensive side of the ball and being kind of in his room, kind of just peeking in, kind of see how he coaches. I kind of understand what he was about, and for the whole defense, kind of see how he coaches and what he expects out of us is a big deal. And I think we've really transformed over the year today. The coaching staff in general has just done a great job of keeping us in line, keeping us understanding what we need to be doing out there and what they expect from us. So I mean, it's kind of helped us a lot on defense. When we know that we're not gonna beat everybody 50-something to 0. People are gonna score on us. But it's how you respond to that. I think that's one of the biggest.
What's it like? You won the Rose Bowl, and now you're back at practice here on Monday.
I don't know. It doesn't feel too different to me. It feels like you're still in the middle of the season. It was great to celebrate the Rose Bowl, but now we got to focus on to a bigger game, a different opponent. So, I mean, it's a whole bunch of different new things, but you can't harp on the past too much.
What are the challenges that Ohio State's offense is going to present for you?
I think their system is such a dynamic thing. We haven't seen a lot of that style of play too much in the Pac-12. And I mean, for them to have a third-string quarterback in, or whatever they call it, and they still be able to succeed in the way they do, that kind of shows what their team is about. They're going to push through it all. They're going to fight. They're going to be tough. They've got a lot of weapons, running the ball, throwing the ball. So we just got to be disciplined on defense. Guys got to take care of their job.
They're a spread. How are they different from other spreads that you see?
I just think different plays, different formations. Not every spread is the same. I mean, our spread is much different from Cal's or Washington State or whatever. I mean, just because you have like 4 people lined up and receivers or whatever doesn't mean you're going to get the same exact style of play. You get different blocking schemes, different routes, stuff like that.
What about how fast are they going to be running plays that you're not?
I don't know. I haven't played them yet. So,
No, I mean just from what you see and know, how fast are the plays in terms of the hurry of offense?
Are you looking for me to say
No.
seconds?
I'm saying like in terms of the hurry of offense, the no huddle offense. How fast do they get plays off?
I'm not sure how to answer. I don't. I mean, I'm not.
Is there an injury this year, Tony, that you worried that you guys might not be able to make a move? Yeah, if all the guys got hurt, was there one where you thought, man, I don't know if we can replace this guy?
I don't think you can replace anybody, honestly. Everybody's different. But what I do know is that I have confidence in whoever's going to step in next. Just because they work throughout practice and the way they play. Something that's unique about Oregon is that everybody plays. You know what I mean? It's not like we just have the ones that play all the games and the two just get in and score without a hand or whatever. But it doesn't matter if we're down like 13 points, we're still going to have that same rotation. So guys are seasoned, they know how the game's going to go, they know the speed of things, so they're comfortable in there. So when they are getting the starting job, it's not like they haven't played college football.
Were you surprised at all that it was Ohio State?
I wasn't. I mean, we knew going into the playoff system, the 4 teams were competitive-wise can go either way. So, I mean, my hats off to those guys. They took down Bama, who everybody was expecting to be in the game, I guess. I don't know. I wasn't surprised. I mean, it's football. You can go either way.
Sorry for already been asked, but what have you kind of seen early on from Ohio State's offense?
They're a tough team. They have a great system going on. Coach Meyer and his guys, they do a great job of getting what they want out of their offense. Special teams was also a big deal that I've kind of noticed, and the rest of the team noticed. Those guys, they play hard in all aspects of the game, and that's going to be a big thing for us. Defensively, I mean, I can't control what the offense does, but I mean, I know I can affect the game, especially in the defense, so we really have to be sound and disciplined in what we do.
Is there a difference between the offenses with Barrett at quarterback and now, since he's gotten hurt, and Jones being back in there, or is it pretty similar between the two?
I mean, I haven't really focused on the previous quarterbacks that we're going to be playing against, so I mean, I don't really know. I just know the guy that Jones they have now, he's a great player. For him to step in like he did and still get them to the national championship is a huge deal, so he's going to come out ready to compete.
People talk maybe that you only had 2 starts before the Alabama game, and it's difficult to prepare for a guy with such little film. Is that true, or do you have enough to go off of 2.5, 3 games?
Well, I don't think in this game you kind of like focus your game plan around one player, mostly just the plays and the kind of looks we're going to get. Because you never know who's going to get thrown in there. There could be some new guy we haven't seen before step in and play, so you can't really focus on one guy. But at the same time, do think you have to understand who they have and who their weapons are and what they like to do with those weapons. But I just think it's more about how more than who.
Tony, there's a long list of things other programs around the country have tried to copy from Oregon. Do you guys take pride in that that teams all over the country really are basically trying to steal your stuff?
I mean, not really. To us, football is football. What we do inside this building that's just purely on the coaches, and we believe in that system, so we do it. We don't really focus too much on what other teams do. Whatever works for them, that's great. And whatever works for us, we just focus on that.